Hello everyone, and welcome to TESL Ontario Exchange video series, a new video series from TESL Ontario developed by our members and for our members. The aim of this series is to provide a bank of short videos between 5 to 15 minutes consisting of teaching gems, tried and true lesson ideas, technology that helps you to work more efficiently, and the time-saving tips for educators. My name is Gonul Turkdogan, and today it gives me a great pleasure to introduce our presenter, Charity Davenport. Charity was an ESL instructor for an IEP for over 13 years before pursuing a new position in instructional technology. She loves finding ways for learners to learn English in engaging ways using technology. Her other passions are universal design for learning and open educational resources. Today, she will speak on promoting active reading with collaborative online annotation. Without further ado, let's move on to the presentation. Over to you, Charity.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm glad to be participating in this video series. And yes, today I'll be talking about how you can promote active reading with collaborative online annotation, specifically using the tool Perusal. And just a quick note before I talk about the tool is the pedagogy behind it and what social annotation is. And it is the use of collaborative technologies to help students draw meaningful connections to texts in line alongside their peers, practice the strategies of academic writing in context, and help educators to bring to the surface how thoroughly social the activities of reading and writing have always been. And I always like to describe it as kind of like a discussion board, but inside a reading. And actually in Perusal, you can do it for videos as well. And before we jump into the tool, I do want to give a little bit of information about Perusal and some of the features it has, and some comparison between other tools such as Hypothesis and Actively Learn. One thing I love about Perusal is that it's not just text that you can put in as comments and replies, but you can put in images, emojis, hyperlinks, and videos as well. You can upload a variety of different documents, or it could be a website, it could be a PDF, a video, or even a podcast. It has a text-to-speech function, which I really like, so that students can listen while they read the reading, or they can listen to their classmates' comments. It has automatic scoring, which I think is very interesting. It has upvoting so that classmates can encourage each other and show that they've made a great comment. Instructors can upvote too. You can use video and still have annotations. You can get a glimpse of how your students are doing, how many annotations are they making, how long are they reading the article. If you have an LMS, it's free for an admin to install it. And so then that way your scores and maybe your calendar events can be brought to the LMS. And last, my favorite feature is it's free. Everyone loves free. So why don't we take a look at the tool? Okay. Maybe I should have just went to my other screen. Oh, well. Share screen again. Ooh. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing, of course, I'm not seeing the same. Do you see my slide? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
I see your slide, but not the actual
Okay.
website.
Okay, so there we go. All right. Okay. So to get to Perusal, we go to perusal.com and it'll look like this screen. Of course, to get started, if you need to make an instructor account and for students to make their student account, you go to Get Started. It will ask you, are you an instructor or a student? Choose the role you need. After that, it will also ask if you're going to be using Perusal or are you going to link it to the LMS. It's important to go ahead and make the link to the LMS first. I already have an account, so I'm not going to go to the Get Started. I'm going to go to Log In. And as soon as I log in, this is what I see. So on this screen, this is where I can create the course. If you've already made a Perusal course, or maybe there's an instructor that has, and you want to make a copy of their course, you can. For students, they would use the Enroll in a Course, and you will have a code to give the students to enroll. Students could make their own little study groups using Perusal. And then the Browse Catalog and Purchases, it is possible to also purchase any textbook that they're using for the class, and it'll be brought into Perusal. I like using free materials. I'm a big OER person, so I don't worry so much about or think so much about the catalog and the purchasing side. So I'm going to use one of my old courses as an example. I'm going to click on it, and let's first start on this side. So I have my course home, I have settings, and I have gradebook. The gradebook is where I can see the scores for all of my students' annotations. For the settings, so here's where I can change the settings. We have general for just the name of the course, grouping. I really advise if you have a lot of students in your course, like here it says 10. If you have more than 10 students, I would have it set up so that it will put students into groups. Even with this course where I had 5 students, they made a lot of annotations. They were really excited to use this tool. Sometimes it can be too much, so I really advise using the grouping tool. For scoring, like I said, it has automatic scoring, but with this setting, you can either turn off that scoring or you can adjust the scoring. And it is really interesting how they do the score. Here for the one that they have made, 60% of it is for the annotation content. As an ESL instructor, I don't really trust their AI or whatever algorithm they're using, because my students' English, is not the same as the native speakers. It may make their score lower, even though their comment, actually, the content is really great. But they can also get part of their score just for opening the assignment, how much time they've spent in the reading. It also makes a score for, did they actually read the whole reading? Are they putting comments only at the beginning, or are they kind of evenly spaced out through the reading? They get a score from getting responses, so that encourages them to have high quality responses for their students to be able to respond. And if they upvote and if they are upvoted, all of these things kind of build a score that could be used. And personally, I use it more of just for a participation score. So let's go back to the course home. And I like that these little buttons here are in order of how to put content in Perusal and how to make the assignments, and then how to see how your students are doing in Perusal. So this home button here just tells me how I can do these things. The first thing is we got to get the students enrolled, and it gives you your course code to give to them. Then we'll put materials in the library, and then we'll assign those materials using the assignments. So let's do that. So in the library, this is where I add the content, and there's, for both the library and the assignments, there's 2 places that you can get stuff done. This first one is here, the add content, but you can also do it up here at add content. They're exactly the same. And there's so many choices. You can purchase the textbook through Perusal and then add it in. You can use a web page. Although I do want to warn, when you do add a web page, be careful, like it says, to not add pages that have pop-ups or a login, because it's kind of like it just takes a picture of the website. So it's kind of easy for there to be some problems if there are login screens or any kind of pop-up. But you can also use a document. It could be an image, a PDF, Word document. Again, you can copy from another course. You can use video. You can have audio or a podcast. And depending on your assignment, you can also have students uploading documents. This could maybe be a good thing for maybe some peer review for essays. So after you've uploaded your content, so for example here, let's say I've just uploaded this new assignment that I want to make, this story part 1. After I've done that, I think the easiest thing to do is just click on your content, and then we have the assign button here. So this is how you can make your assignment. It will ask you if you want the whole content. If you're using a textbook and it's 200 pages, you don't want them to use the whole 200 pages. You can tell it which pages you want to assign. Of course, you can make the deadline, give them instructions. I always give students a round 1 and a round 2. So round 1 is time for them to read the material and to think and make their comment. And then round 2 is time for them to read their classmates' comments and respond. After that, it asks me if I want to use that scoring or if I want to use my own scoring. And then after that, I save and it'll make my assignment. Once that is done, you can go up here to assignments and you can see all of the assignments that you've given. And this is how it looks when students have started working on this assignment. It tells me that I have 11 comments that I haven't read. I can get a little bit of the student analytics without going to the gradebook. It has a confusion report, which I really like. If you have more than 10 students in your course, if there are questions, it'll compile those into the confusion report. And it gives me a little bit of information of what's happening, how many students have completed it, or how many have not, or how many have started. It also gives me some information about some of the popular annotations that have been updated. So that's if they've completed it. Another thing I like, especially if you're copying from an old course, you can edit the deadlines. As you can see, this is from a while ago, so I could edit these deadlines and use the same course pretty easily. So that's how to add the content, how to make the assignments. This button here is giving the student information. It's kind of also like the gradebook. I can email the student if I need to, extend deadlines, look at their analytics, how are they doing in the readings, and then also download all of their annotations here. So now I want to go back here to student view, which we haven't talked about. How does this look for students? How do students even make comments, and how does any of that work? So that's what we'll do now, because it's going to log me out. All right, so now I'm in student view. It doesn't look a whole lot different, but it is a simpler view for the students. So we'll go back to this assignment that I made. And then as a student, I just click on work on assignment. It gives me a little tiny tour when I come in so that I know how to use Perusal. Here in the corner, it gives me the instructions. And then here is my reading. So let's say as a student, I'm going through this reading and it's like, oh, okay, I see some highlights here. And when I click on the highlight, it's going to open up and show me the comments that students have made. Well, I haven't read yet. It looks like my classmates have read, but I haven't read yet. I don't want to read any of their comments just now. Well, fortunately, you can turn them off. I can come up here to all comments. I can see my own. I can see everyone else's. Maybe I missed some. It'll show me which ones I haven't read yet. I want to just go to no comments. And now I can read it without, worrying about, oh, what have my classmates said about this? I can just read it fresh without worrying about their comments. Now, once I've finished reading, and maybe I go ahead and make my own comments, but now I want to see everybody's comments. I'll go back to all comments. And I could go and click on each of these, or I could go over here to the side panel and click all conversations. The ones that are in bold, that means I haven't read them yet. So this is easy for me to see which ones I haven't taken a look at yet. And as you can see, even with 5 students, there is a lot happening in this one reading. I can also star comments. So maybe I want to go back and reply later. I can search through comments. I can bookmark. I can take notes. Notes are more for if I just want to make a personal note, although I can share it to people and share it with the instructor. And then one of my favorite things here is the read aloud. So this is the text to speech that I was talking about. I can have it read the reading. I think, let's see, I'll put my cursor here. Uh-oh. And it should read, let's see. I'll have it read here.
Adapted from Gods and Heroes by R.E. Francillin and material from the Wikipedia article Tidanimaki. In the beginning, there was nothing but chaos.
And so that's how students comment, and that's the student view. And I think that's it for me.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Charity, for sharing such a wonderful insight on promoting active reading with collaborative online annotation. This Perusal website is wonderful. It has great tools that teachers can actually use. And it's been a great pleasure to hear you speak about this website with us. And as we come to the end, let me remind you that TESL Exchange video series promises to deliver more education to you in bite-sized videos from the ELT professional. So if you liked our video, don't forget to hit like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to contribute an educational video, make sure to check the link provided in the information box below. And until then, see you next time. Thank you.